They have a good sponsor. I think in SportPesa, they have a very good fan base. They have a very good coach. They have nice players. I don't know what is the problem with this team, because this is a team that we expect them to be fighting for the titles, for them to be up there. As much as you can say that it is still early in the season, but still every game counts. For you to be a winner, you need to capitalize on each and every game that comes your way. Because if you look at a team like Gor Mahia, 3 games, 7 points, only losing 2 points from 3 games, which means this is a team that you can say, as much as right now it is on fewer games, but it is at a place whereby you expect them to be, because they have only lost 2 points from the maximum 9 that you're supposed to be having for 3 games. So what can you say about, do you think Shabana will be at the same place coming? Let's try to imagine, if at all Shabana continues like this, do we see Shabana going for relegation at the end of the season, Rodney?
There's a very good chance for them to be relegated. If you look at their performances at the moment, they're not as positive. And we had a bit of hope for them now coming into a new season, that they would at least find some form and maybe improve on where they failed last season. But clearly they haven't really built up on their performances. And if you look at the rest of the league, there is a lot of competition within the other teams, so it could be a quite tough task for them this season if they are unable to improve their performances going on.
Exactly. Yeah. That is what we pray. So I pray so much, because I always say in this show that Shabana is one of the teams that are not close to my heart, but I feel like they are supposed to be in the league. They should not go anywhere other than the league. They should not go to the NSL, because their level is at the league. And I really pray so much that they improve on their performances and just be at the place where they're supposed to be. Fighting for the titles. Even if they don't win it, at least be at the place whereby we can see them competing and bringing competition to these perennial winners, which is Gor Mahia and maybe Tusker at some point. Now, looking at the top of the table, you have KCB, Kariobangi Sharks and Marashuga, and FC Leopards and Bandari FC. Now, a team that is surprising me this season is a team by the name Marashuga, because it's a newcomer in the league. This is their first time at top life in the longest time. I think it's their first time ever. And we are seeing them performing so well. They are on to 6 games and 11 points. This means that they have lost only, how many? 8 points only? Sorry, not 8. Not 8, I think. 7 points. They are less 7 points from the maximum 7 points. So, sitting comfortably at the 4th position on 11 points, a point behind the second team, which is Kariobangi Sharks with 12 points, and only 6 points behind KCB. What do you think of Marashuga? Because it's a newcomer. This team is a newcomer in the league, and you're seeing them performing so well. Like, according to what you expect of them, they're performing so well, like a team that has been there for the longest time. What can you say about Marashuga?
I think we talked about Marashuga and we talked about the expectations of that team, because it's one of the teams that have been promoted to the top tier league. And if you look at how they have started the league, they have started in a strong way, despite the odds, people not looking as in underrated team. You know, people don't give credit to the newly promoted clubs. And against all odds, they're in that position. As they have played 6 games and they have 6 games, winning 3. So that's quite a start to their campaign. But you know, we talked about Posta Rangers last season and how they started. They were also in this position. Actually, then they were at the first number 1. Exactly. Posta Rangers. So and we talked about this topic, if they can withstand that pressure from these other teams, because if you look at a team like Gor Mahia, soon it will be at that position. A team like FC Leopards, wako nyuma yao wana push. So will they be able to withstand that pressure and be able to sustain that position? For me, I think if they continue with how they play and how they perform against all odds, if they keep continuing in this way, they will finish in that top spot. Hata kama watashuka chini, unajua table you shuffle after every game week. Na nina noticing FKF points tallies huko very tight. If you lose a game, uko number 4, unajipata uko number 10. Under just 1 game. So it's about sustaining that pressure. And I think if Mara Sugar continue in that form, in that way, I think they can withstand that pressure. We just have to see a couple of games because a team like Police FC, Tusker FC, Gor Mahia will be pushing for that spot as well, AFC Leopards. So we just have to wait and see if they can be able to sustain that position.
And fortunately or unfortunately, their next game is against the mighty AFC Leopards, and this one game that was supposed to be played in the weekend, but it was postponed due to the fact that two of AFC Leopards players are part of the Harambee Stars chance squad that was playing. And there's one thing I noticed. One of the directors of Mara Sugar was wondering about this and was saying, like, how do you postpone a game because only two of your players are out of the squad, and you have almost 38 players in the squad? Why would something like that happen? What can I say about that, Rodney? Does it even make sense?
It makes no sense unless in the kind of unfortunate event you're less as a team. But
exactly,
I believe that for every team that goes into the season, they go with maximum numbers. So I don't really understand what is happening over there. But then if you look at the incoming fixtures, you have AFC Leopards, then Bidco United, Sofapaka, Tusker, and then Gor Mahia. So they are in for quite a lot of work coming up ahead. But at least from those fixtures, we can at least judge where they'll be standing this season.
And this match here, Mara Sugar against FC Leopards, is one of the unique matches because the assistant coach of FC Leopards is a brother to the director of Mara Sugar. It's an elder brother. So the director that I'm saying is called Boniface Ambani. He's one of the directors of Mara Sugar and a former FC Leopards player.
Okay. Wow, that's
so this one is a match that I would want to see how it turns out and what it would make of these two brothers. It's amazing to see like brothers like doing so much for the team, for the local leagues here, and seeing, especially for Mara Sugar. I love what Boniface Ambani and the team are doing for Mara Sugar because it's something that is so amazing. They're running their club in a very professional way that you can be proud of, and I hope other teams emulate that. And one team I would also like to talk about here briefly is Kakamega Homeboys, right now sitting on the 15th position. I think what's wrong with Kakamega Homeboys right now, because this is a team that we're expecting also to be fighting at the top spots there at the moment, because it's a very good team, and one of the owner of Kakamega Homeboys is contesting for the FKF presidential seat. Do you think the elections are taking over or the toll on the Kakamega Homeboys? Because right now they're on the 15th position, just a point above relegation. In fact, they share the same point with Posta Rangers who are at the relegation. They have won only one game. They have drawn 2 and lost 3 games. Sorry. Yes, 2. Yeah. So what do you think is wrong with Kakamega Homeboys? A team that is always we expect them at the top. A team that performs even when it comes to I think it's last season whereby they did so well even in the FKF it's called Mozart Bet Cup. This is a team that's the team that you expect there. So like literally this season, the teams that you expect them to be at the top, they're the ones who are tailing at the bottom. Let us say 7 games because the most games played here in this team. What can you make of Kakamega Homeboys? Because maybe, do you think the deviation of the chairman now to politics of the governing body, do you think they're affecting the team, or what is the problem?
I don't think it should have. Sorry, I don't think it should have such an effect to the team because these are completely different things. So his standing for the presidency and the club are not anywhere related. So in terms of performances or whatever goes on the pitch, so we're not really sure what's going on behind the scenes. But also, if you look at it from another perspective, if you look at the matches they've played against KCB, where they lost 4-1. They've played against Kariobangi Sharks and they lost 1-0, and played against Tusker where they drew 2-2. So if you look at these fixtures, they're not very. So could be that's the reason why they've been performing like that this season. But then again, we're not really sure what's going on behind the scenes.
We are not really sure what's going really behind the scenes. Those are the sentiments of Rodney here in their scoreboard. Continue talking to us. I can say I've said that we are live on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook at EBN TV. We are on YouTube also, so you can comment down there. Tell us what you feel. What's your favorite team? Do you think it performed the way it should be this weekend? I would like to hear what you feel about everything going around, especially for your favorite team. Now, something happened during the week. There was the CHAN qualifiers match that pitted Harambee Stars against South Sudan, whereby the Harambee Stars lost 2-0 South Sudan. This is one of the game. This is one of the results that I never expected this in my lifetime. Like, South Sudan can beat Harambee Stars. With one of the best squads that the coach had picked, because we had notable squads here. Like we had people like Gor Mahia Sodiambo, and let me check. I'm trying to look at the squad that started here. This is the squad here. We had Breno Odhiambo as the goalkeeper. This is the national team goalkeeper. So we have Breno Odhiambo. We had Daniel Sakari. We have Sylvester Uino, Musa Mohamed, Geoffrey Ochieng, Crispin Erambo, Marvin Omondi, Austin Odhiambo, Patrick Otieno, Ronnie Onyango, and Sydney Lokare. Now, this is one of the best squad that a coach can assemble from our local leagues. And now, being beaten 2-0 by South Sudan, what do you make of that?
It was unexpected.
Very much.
Kenya versus South Sudan. That's a game that you expect a team like Kenya to win. And for me, it came as a shock. Although I didn't check on it, but hearing it from you, it's shocking, because that's a game that we do not need to lose. Even if hata kudraw ingekuwa bado tunaongelelea, like we should not draw with South Sudan, a team of our standards. Tunajua, like we have the keeper, we have players in that team that can make the difference. Now umewataja hapo kwa hiyo squad. So for me, what I make of that game is that it's a shocking it's shocking, as in, of course hakuna mtu anapenda loss. So it's shocking. It's nile metupata off guard, na sijui kama they have to work better from that. It should not sink in them that they have lost, and then that loss ianze to build up to the next games, to the next qualifiers. So they have to wake up from that. Maybe it's something that maybe that loss maybe ni kuwafungulia, maybe kuna mahali maybe mko down ama something like that. So they should build up from that. Wajue ni wapi wali make the wrong mali wrong or make right. Na maybe that next game waweze sasa ku get the result.
And exactly, and maybe someone will argue that maybe it was an away fixture because it was played on Juba Stadium at the home country of South Sudan. But still, even if you compare the two leagues here, I feel like the Kenyan league is much better than the South Sudan league. What do you think, Rodney, about it? Or is it the fact that it was an away game scare? Do we have an away game scare?
It could be, but I don't think at this level it should be taking such kind of effects on them, because these are professionals and they've played recently, I think the AFCON, just not too long ago. So they've played in some very hostile environments, Cameroon for example, so they should have at least had that kind of experience and known that the kind of atmosphere they were going to was not going to be as friendly as playing at home. However, it was a shocking result, as you've said. It was very unexpected, and we were hoping that they would at least learn from their mistakes from the AFCON qualification. But clearly, there's still some problems that need to be taken care of, and as they carry forward, hopefully they can fix these things and find their form.
And I was checking around online and the Harambee Stars fans and the Kenya as a whole. Some people are calling for Engin Firat's neck. They are calling him for him to be sacked. Do you think it is high time Engin Firat was shown the door, because he's been here for almost 3 years and still not getting a formidable side that can win you games? Do you think it is high time we release him from his duties?
I don't think so. It might be a bit too soon to be calling for him to be removed, because if you look at the team, the tactics are there, the performances are not as convincing sometimes, but they do put up a fight. So we're not really sure if it's the players themselves or if it's the manager, because the players are very good. We've seen the team playing against other countries, and they put up some good performances from time to time, but we're not really sure if it's the manager himself or if it's the players to be blamed.
Rory is of the sentiments that it is too soon to release the injury flag. Manu, what's your take on that? Do you think it is high time he was released from his duties, because we're not seeing the results 3 years later?
Yeah, this one is a hot take, because I think we discussed this topic some few shows back, way long before the time whereby we looked at his previous teams that he managed across the globe, and you could see his record. It's not pleasing. We looked at it a few times, but we said that he should be given time, because he just came in and starting to know the squad, squad selection, performances on the pitch. We've had these issues too around our football in the country. So I think he was given time, but now seeing that the results are not capitalized, unapata sometimes anashinda poa, tukipatana na a good team kama tujuzi Cameroon, second like twice home and away. So it's something that should be looked at. I don't know if, I think amekuwa na time, that's mimi naweza sema hivyo, amekuwa na time, na if the board kifika hiyo point wamekumrelease, it's okay, because amekuwa na time, na tulisema anafaa pewe time, familiarize na squad. He is an experienced coach, so he knows the players to select, he knows where things are not right, he knows where they are wrong, as in alipewa hiyo time ya kuestablish hiyo. So right now ukiangalia the results are not being capitalized. We are losing to South Sudan. Then in Africa hiyo point yenye sasa the board now have to consider that, and they are the ones that they will make the decision. So yeah, we'll just see on the future how things will go.
There is Manu taking no hostages here, says that the coach has had enough time, which is true, because 2-3 years it's enough time to be able now to have a formidable squad. And I believe, I'm not saying he should be out or he should be in, I'm just saying something should be looked at.
And you know, right now we are playing qualifiers, so that we may qualify for these big competitions. Now if we don't capitalize on, how many times are we going to miss for example AFCON, tukose AFCON hii yenye nakuja CHAN. So ni kitu sasa board itaamua kureconsider, na amekuwa na hiyo time.
And right now it's very dangerous, because we are walking into uncertain waters, because we are heading into an election in December, and this might be a problem to his work, because when a new regime comes in, they'll want to review his contract and his performances in the last years that he has been a coach, and that one might be his downfall. So I really hope for the sake of my country, because I feel so painful when you lose to such games or any other game. So I think he should up his game. He should just look for a way that he's going to bring in performances to convince the next regime, if at all this regime is going to be changed. Of course it is going to be changed. So the next regime, he should convince the next regime that he's up to the task and will be bringing in the results. So I don't know what to feel about everything. I don't know what to feel about Harambee Stars, especially right now, because the results that have been coming in recent times are not pleasing, are not convincing at all. So what is your take on Harambee Stars? Do you think it is high time the Harambee Stars coach is released of his duties, or do you think we should be more patient with him? Because I feel like patience has a limit. as much as you love someone, as much as you want to give people time, but there's a limit to time given when it comes to sports, because cannot be, we should not ask us to be patient when you're not seeing a progress in whatever you're doing. So tell me outside there, for our viewers, do you think it is high time the Harambee Stars coach is released from his duties? Talk to us through our social media pages or platforms, and we'll surely read them as the show goes on. Right now, I'd like us to go on a short break, but when we come back, we'll be soaring higher and be taking you direct now to Europe. Stay tuned, don't touch that dial, because so much is coming up, especially for those ones who are supporting the English Premier League. There was an El Clasico game during the weekend. There was the Arsenal versus Liverpool game. There was a Manchester game taking place. There was so much that happened during the weekend, so don't touch that dial, because so much is coming up after this break.